shorter travel, trail-oriented Neuron has always been a staple of the Canyon range, but in recent years, thanks to its cross-country slant, general appeal has wavered. It's looked a little bit out of place in comparison with its racier or more enduro-friendly stablemates, and was desperately due a complete overhaul. But in typical Germanic fashion, however, Canyon has thrown a slight curveball with the new Neuron. At a time when most brands are making their short to mid-travel bikes burlier and slacker, and basically way more capable, Canyon has rigidly stuck to the Neuron's raison d'etre, and kept it firmly at a design and geometry level that is aimed at riders wanting to not only blast down the hills, but also take pleasure in getting to the top in the first place. To further complicate matters, the designers were quick to explain that this is a bike aimed not just at experienced riders, but its general demeanour was designed to encourage new riders, and provide a ride quality without any surprises. If you're Canyon's designers, to create this broad appeal, it's apparently all about giving it a longer, more stable wheelbase, involving longer than usual chainstays. We're talking 440mm in medium to extra large frame sizes, and 430mm chainstays in extra small and small. The angles are a little bit conservative, with the 130mm travel 29er utilising a 67.5 degree head angle and 74.5 degree seat angle. Curiously, line up the new Neuron against the old Neuron and they share almost every measurement. So from a geometry perspective, this update looks to be more of a facelift than revamp. But where the real changes are happening is in the suspension. Now, the Neuron shares not only the same silhouette as its stablemates, but also the sorted suspension kinematics first seen with the Sender downhill bike and lately the Spectral, Torque and Lux models. But it has its own unique features as well. Top of the list being the neat composite linkage and shock yoke that ties the two ends neatly together and gives an almost seamless aesthetic to the entire frame. Canyon has also taken some of the better features of its other models and improved them on the Neuron. Take the bearings for example. All frame bearings are now fully sealed and all benefit from protective caps to prevent mud and water ingress. And finally, Canyon has listened and ditched the press fit BB. There's a good old BSA threaded shell in the Neuron, so that should please many riders. The Neuron proves to be a little more capable than expected when riding. It channels some of the same superb riding characteristics as the longer travel Spectral, itself one of MBR's favourite trail bikes, but there's no getting away from the fact that it lacks the more progressive geometry of most of its rivals. The reach on the large frame size felt a little bit cramped, and the bottom bracket also felt a touch too tall for really giving it beans on the steeps and in the corners. That's not to say the Neuron is an incapable bike, it handles steep single track well thanks to the sorted suspension, but its appeal is still firmly at the less extreme end of trail riding. 5 main models plus 2 female specific models will be available immediately in the Neuron CF range, with prices starting from just £2,449.